For example, what does your mother call you? Dinu. Professor Bogdan blinked a couple of times. Like the skier, he had a bushy mustache, except his was mostly white. Texas is the Lone Star State. Florida is the Sunshine State. Georgia is the Peach State. Georgia? They have a Georgia of their own. They have everything, Dinu, although... He leaned across the desk and pointed at Dinu with his nicotine-stained finger. Although most of them don't realize it and complain all the time, just like us. Does your brother complain? Dinu said. Professor Bogdan's eyebrows, not quite as bushy as his mustache, rose in surprise. No, Dinu, he does not complain. My brother grew up here. But his children, do you know what they drive? Teslas. Teslas almost fully paid off. But they complain. Those state nicknames sounded great to Dinu, even magical in the case of the Lone Star. He knew one thing for sure. If he ever got to America, Tesla or no Tesla, he would never complain. Just to get out of the flat where he lived with his mother, much better than the one-room walk-up they'd occupied before Uncle Dragomir started helping out, but still a flat too cold in winter, too hot in summer, with strange smells coming up from the sink drain and... The door opened, and Uncle Dragomir, not the knocking type, walked in. Professor Bogdan's office got smaller right away. Bogdan half rose from his chair. How's he doing? Uncle Dragomir said, in their native tongue, indicating Dinu with a little chin motion. He had a large, square chin, a nose that matched, large, square hands, and a large, square body. Everything about him large and square, other than his eyes. His eyes were small, round, glinting. Oh, fine, said Professor Bogdan. Coming along nicely. Good, very well. In time, said Uncle Dragomir. In time? How much longer? Days, weeks, months? Professor Bogdan turned to Dinu and switched to English. Weeks we can do, don't you think? I don't know, Dinu said. Professor Bogdan turned to Uncle Dragomir, switched back to their language, and smiling as brightly as he could, with teeth like his, said, Weeks, Dragomir. Uncle Dragomir fastened his glinting gaze on Professor Bogdan. In my career, I've dealt with types who like to stretch out the job. I know, you're not like them. Professor Bogdan put his hand to his chest. The furthest thing from it. Not many weeks, Dragomir, not many at all. Said Uncle Dragomir. He took out his money roll, separated some bills without counting, leaned across the desk, and stuffed them in the chest pocket of Professor Bogdan's shirt. Then he turned, possibly on his way out, but that was when he noticed the T-shirt lying in Dinu's lap. What's that? Professor Bogdan explained. His brother, the Granite State, plumbing and heating. Let's see it on, said Uncle Dragomir. It's my size, Dinu said. Let's see. Dinu considered putting on the T-shirt over his satin-lined leather jacket. Not real satin or leather, although very close. But the T-shirt would probably not fit over the jacket. It was a stupid idea. The problem was that he wore nothing under the jacket, all his shirts dirty, the washer broken, and his mother once again dealing with the swollen hands issue. He took off the jacket. Professor Bogdan's gaze went right to the big bruise over his ribs on the right side. Not a fresh bruise. Purple and yellow now. Kind of like summer sunsets if the wind was coming out of the mountains and blowing the pollution away. But impossible to miss. Uncle Dragomir didn't give it the slightest glance. Instead, he helped himself to a Chesterfield from Professor Bogdan's pack, lying on the desk. Dinu put on the T-shirt. The plunger is funny, said Uncle Dragomir, lighting up. Desfundator was their word for plunger. Plunger was better. The smoke from Uncle Dragomir's cigarette reached him. He began to cough. That made his chest hurt under the bruise. 2. Something amazing happened on court number 2 of the new Sunshine Golf